Hello, it's me, and I thought I'd bring out this puzzle here to demonstrate. This has actually become one of my favorites, just in terms of challenge and portability and structure and function and all that good stuff. So this is an offset 2x2 Skewb. So basically this is a hybrid in its truest sense. It's not a camouflage type puzzle where it looks like one puzzle but it's actually a different puzzle. It's truly 2-in-1. And the thing about a hybrid is when you combine two different moves together and two different puzzles together, it does do some really bizarre things to the challenge. Just to review, it's got all your classic Skewb moves, meaning that it's a corner turner that has a corner in the center of the turn, as well as dragging some other corners with it. And you can see that this is one type of corner, here's another type, so this drags it over here. And our centers are this whole thing over here. But in addition to that, you've got these 2x2 moves. Now, it's not just pure 2x2 moves, because when I turn it here, I can't make a 90-degree turn when it looks like this V. It's got to look like a line in order to make another 90-degree turn, so I got to do it in 180 degrees. Then I can turn it like so. When I do that, I'm actually separating out some of these smaller pieces. So a 2x2 scramble and solve and a Skewb scramble and solve is not really such a big deal, but when you combine the two together, that's where things get a little more complicated. Because it kind of bears in mind the notion, again, of the concept of parity. That if I take a puzzle and reduce it to one type of puzzle, for instance, if I decide to reduce it to a Skewb and solve it as a Skewb, even though I was doing 2x2 moves, I might find impossible situations when I try to solve it as a Skewb. If parity is an attribute of the puzzle being odd or even, then parity can also be an attribute of a general other type of structure, like a Skewb parity or a cube parity. So if I scramble it as both a Skewb and a cube,
what about
very funny.
Do you know what that means? A pew is where you get married on a church. Like
I thought you said like.
Yeah.
Oh.
You're gonna edit that out, right?
No, it's going in. I want them to know my wife's of humor.
Oh, his twisty puzzle name is Doctor Who.
They know that. They know that. If they don't know that by now, they have been paying attention.
He's in Atlantis right now. He lives in a condo right by it.
I live in a condo?
Oh,
You're staying in a condo.
You're visiting in a condo.
I'm visiting it, right.
Hi, Atlantis. You can have my phone number.
Oh.
And that's the last time you'll ever say that to a boy. So basically, a Skewb and a cube you can look at as two different types of puzzles, so different types of parities. So if I'm reducing it from a cube to a Skewb, then I might end up with a parity of impossibility where I have to use cube moves to get that out of that. So I bear in mind that we might end up with a parity situation with this. So why don't we go ahead and just kind of scramble this up so that we can see. Here's some Skewb moves over here. Skewb moves, Skewb moves. Now I could just go ahead and scramble it and solve it as a Skewb, but why would I do that? So the 2x2 moves, now I'm going to sort of take these, as long as I'm doing Skewb moves, I'm not interfering with my corner here and my center here. But the second I go like this, then we got ourselves a little problem. Now, yes. Oh, okay. Turn, turn, and turn. Okay, so what I love about these puzzles, by the way, this came from Tom van der Zan, and you can tell just the smoothness of his design. I think he's probably among the best of the 3D printing artists that are out there. Whoop, I need to do one more. And if I want to separate these centers out, I have to do Skewb moves in order to get them away from their native area. Anyway, so it looks like this is a pretty good scramble, and I really like the look of this scramble because it has a very definite typical Rubik's Cube, gotta solve it type look to it. So now the question is, how do I begin? How do I go through the process of solving this puzzle? Well, I could do a couple things. I could try to reduce it to a 2x2 by putting all these corners in, and then the components of the centers, reduce this corner, and then solve it as a 2x2, but I think it's going to be very difficult to try to get everything in like that. So it might be best to reduce it as a Skewb, or maybe none of them, and just kind of put it in by making a bunch of commutators. The challenge of a true hybrid puzzle, and it's hard to isolate pieces and isolate movements, because some pieces move independently only by Skewb moves, and some move independently only by by cube moves. So it's difficult to design commutators, so I think the best strategy would be a reductive strategy to try to put all of those in. So that's what I'm going to try to do. Bearing in mind that when I reduce something, I'm changing parity, and when I'm changing parities, it's a little hard to do that. So the way that we're going to do this is we're going to reduce various sides here. So we're going to reduce the centers. I'm going to reduce all of these. Now there's something else that I should discuss, or something else that I should bear in mind. It's a concept of certain kinds of reductions called chirality. So if parity is a situation of having a characteristic or not having a characteristic, then chirality is a characteristic of handedness, right-handedness or left-handedness. It still is mutually exclusive, as you can either have one or the other, but a puzzle can have both at the same time, right-handedness or left-handedness. In other words, alright, so basically what I mean by that is if I wanted to reduce this and slide this in, I can have a blue and a blue, blue and a blue, and I slide it in this way and it'll be fine. But if I have this blue here, and I have this at the same side, then my chirality will be wrong. So this has to have a right-sided, and this also has to have right-sided. So my chirality has to equal. So I've got to be sure that when I'm reducing these, I make sure that I have the same chirality. That I don't have a racemic mixture where I've got two different things equally. My chirality has to be the same. So again, here's what I mean by that. I've got this blue. I'm going to move it into here like so. So I've got this lined up. If I hold it here, then the other blue one has to move in the same way. Which means that if this is on the right side, this chirality, if it's blue, also has to be right. So I'm going to find my other blue, which is here. And if I hold it like this, I've got to move it to here. So I know that the chirality must be the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and move this guy down here, like so. And I've got to make sure that he can move right into here, so that, well, actually here, so that this will end up on the right side, plop, so right-sided. Now that I have that, we can move this opposite, and now I can move it in like thus, bang. So as long as I pay attention and I make sure that the handedness or the chirality is the same, then that'll work. So the parity is the structure of the overall puzzle. The chirality is how you want to place certain pieces in. It's the handedness of a piece so that they can match. If this were on the wrong side, then it would look like this, where, let's say, well, or this over here, where as I moved this guy in, it might have come from an area where this white was here, and it would never be able to fall and match with this piece over here. So that's the aspect of chirality. So we're going to continue with that concept, and I'm just going to keep putting in those that that match. Now, all of these seem to be matched up. I don't think I really meant to do that because it doesn't do me any good. Anyway, so I'm going to do the red one next. So keeping with this chirality concept, if I hold this down to the right, that's going to be right-sided. So as I hold this down to the right, I need to move this guy to here. So I'm going to have to do that by moving it down here. So we go down, down, up, up. So to move this in, it's going to slide in through here. It's going to take this one out of action. So I'm going to go down, down, up, up. Now as I'm doing all these down, down, up, upping processes, it does take things, it does flip-flop these guys here. So by doing that, that might have caused something to be offset. But anyway, so this is right-sided here, so I have to move it in through here. This has to go upside down, so we'll go down, down, up, up. So I'm doing Skewb methodologies to move things into position. So now this will move into here, bang. So this you can see is right-sided chiral right. This is also chiral right. So what I'm going to do is move it into position to where they can come together. Down, down, up, up. Got to turn this upside down. Now there's other ways of turning it upside down. I'm just so used to doing the Skewb method here. This down, down, up, up is the basic movements that I do. So this will move into here and kersplat. So now I've got these guys, this one and this one. So what else? Well, I've got this green one here, and this is chiral right-handed. So that means this green has to come into here. That's this guy. So to best do that, I'm going to want to turn this upside down. Now let's get this one out of the way. I'm just going to go down, down, up, up. Now did this move this where I want it to be? Yeah, this will give me a right-sided chirality. So splat. Right, right, and if they're both right, they can't be wrong. Up, up. So now I'm going to take this and move this into here. So now, as you probably guessed, as I'm putting these in, I'm going to get more and more restricted on what I can do and how I can do this. So I've got another right-sided chirality here, so I got to move the orange to here. So I'm going to take this, let's move this down to here. Now how am I going to do the last two? That's going to be something of a challenge. It might require even some algorithms. So I think I said it had to be chiral right, which means this has to be flipped upside down, 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 up, up, down, down, up, up. So I can move it into here. Now, you notice I'm going to be moving these guys out. I don't want to necessarily do that. If I move this up to here, that won't participate. So let me just take this and swap these two. Down, down, up, up. Now I know that when I did that, I flip-flopped these guys, so it might not be where I want it to be. I did take this out, but what about this? Well, I'm going to have to sacrifice one, but that will actually be okay. I'm going to do down, down, up, up again because I want to flip these two around. Down, down,
Lucy, I got it.
up, up, down, down, up. Now, the reason why I was focusing on putting some in is that once I've put this in, then it has a non-specific chirality. I can move it out like this, or I can move it out like this. Either way, I've got a set that's in, and it doesn't matter the chirality. There's no specificity to it. So when I take this and I move this into here, or actually, yeah, move it to here. I've got to turn this one upside down. I'm going to take this out, but I'm still going to have them separated. I'm going to have them separated, but they're still going to be in the proper chirality, and that's the whole thing. Is I don't want to just assemble a pair and then have something that's out of chirality, so to speak. So actually, where am I going to put this? I guess down.
I'm looking for it.
This is going to bind with here, and like I say, this is to the right, so this 2 is going to be to the right. So this has to find its way to here. So I got to turn it upside down. Down, down, up, up, down, down, up, up. Okay, so now it can come in, and we'll take this one out, but that's okay. 1, 2. So I've got this now. I see this is assembled here, and that's only just the start. So what I want to do now is I want to move this in the proper position here, but we're running into a little bit of a problem because I want to move it in from here. No, I guess that'll work. So down, down, up, up. Okay, the problem is that this is here, and I'm about to chop through this pair over here, so I don't want to do that. So let's put another one in. And again, up. It's going to take this one out, but that's okay. The chirality will be conserved, and I'll be able to put it back in. So these two are out. The way that I could do this is move it like so. So these two are out. Now if I were to flip this around again, flip this upside down, then I can put this in and put this in at the same time. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to flip this. So down, down, up, up, down, down, up, up. So the reds will go in and the oranges will go in and splat. So this is good, this is good. The blue is not, so that didn't really work. So now what I have is I've got a couple that have to be put in. I've got this that needs to be separated from here and bonded with this guy. So let's go ahead and put this opposite. Down, down, up, up. So this is just kind of a matter of positioning here. I'm going to move it like this because I don't want to take this blue chiral piece out. And if I go like this, 1, 2, that doesn't nearly do anything that I really want it to do. So what I'll do is let's go ahead and I want to separate this out. But let's do it with this guy here. Down, down, up, up. Okay. So I need to, in order to put this in, I need to separate this from this guy over here. So I'll go splat. Okay, now that I have that, I'm going to take the blue and I'm going to try to get the blue back in. So down, down, up, up, and in one fell swoop I can hopefully get the blue. This has to be turned upside down, 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 up, up, down, down, up, up. So now the blue will go back in, but of course doing it upside down. So we'll just go like splat. Okay, on doing that I've got a pair here and a pair here, and I've got a pair here, but that doesn't mean the chirality is right. But I do have two that are opposite and two that are opposite here, so let's see what happens when we move them down. Now I can tell you that the chirality is wrong, and that's because this slices down and this slices down and they're across from each other. So I know that it's not going to work so good that way, because if I put this down here, this slices here and this slices through here. So I've got my chirality wrong. Plus I can look at here and say that this is right-sided and this is left-sided, so that's going to be wrong as well. Right-sided and left-sided. So these are of opposite chirality, so that's not going to work with those. What I can do though is let's at least try to get the greens and the blacks back together. So it's down, down, up, up. Now the greens and the blacks will be back together like thus. So bang. So I've got everything in except these guys. Okay, so we have it down to here. That's the situation I was talking about where the chirality is opposite. So everything is in, but I can't just put these guys in because this is right chirality and this is left chirality. So I have to find a way to flip that without causing any trouble. So if I focus on this, this is on the right. I've got to get this to the right without, well, messing anything else up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to move it opposite, but onto something where the chirality is unknown. It could be either or. So I'm going to go like this, splat. This chirality is known over here. Now, the reason that I did it this way is because when I do 1, 2, I've got these two opposite each other with these. So basically, when I'm in a situation like this where I want to change the chirality of this, find a sacrificial lamb over here and go 1, 2. And now if I take this and move it across here, it'll be in the proper position, the same position as this, the proper chirality. What'll happen to the red? Well, the red, because it's the same chirality, doesn't matter where I move it, it's going to end up back where it should be. So I'll go splat. So the reds are back, and now these whites have flipped their chirality. Hopefully flip the chirality to be the same as this, so you can see this is on the right, and this is on the right. So now everything was sort of taken out, but at least the chirality has been held constant. So now all I have to do is put them in positions where they can match up. So this is a position where it can match up. So I'm going to flip it down. Well, actually, before I do that, I'm going to take this, move it down here, because they're opposites. Down, down, up, up. So now this red, this rather yellow can go to here. And this orange can go to here, blue go to here. So one of the main reasons why I'm doing this, knowing that not a lot of people have this puzzle, is I'm doing this so that I can remember what strategies I use so that future me can see what past me did so that I remember exactly what I did to solve this. So splat. So this is in, this is in, this is in. I've got this not in, and I've got these three left, so I'm just going to pick one to put in, one out the red, since that was so nice to use this stuff as a sacrificial lamb. Down, up, up. Okay, I want to move this. I want to move this in. However, I got to move this out. Down, down, up, up, Okay, so I'm going to coordinate getting these in. Now these are going to be opposites, but that's okay, because watch what's going to happen. I'm going to go splat. Whoop, good one. I got to move this upside down. Down, down, up, up, down, down, up, up. So that last part was how I can flip the chirality in order to make things happen. So I'll go splat. Okay, this is in. These two colors are opposites, and now the last two, these two colors are opposites, so now I can coordinate the two together. So I'm going to take this, move this down here, down, down, up, up. So you can see these blues are, I need to flip this, and I also need to flip, well no, the green is fine. So I'm just going to flip the blue to here, down, down, up, up, down, down, up, up. So go 1, 2, and now that's all reduced. So there it is. So now I've got all the centers reduced, and now it's just a question of edge reduction. And I'm always wondering, after doing this reduction from a cube to a skewb, what am I doing about the parity of the puzzle? So now we continue on with corner reduction, now that we've got the centers here. So the best way to do this is to do a combination of skewb moves and 2x2 moves in order to move them into these areas here. And the whole key with this is I don't want to, of course, mess up the centers. So blue and, let's find the blue and white one and see how we're going to do this. Here's a blue and white over here. So I'm going to move this just 2 away from where it's got to be over here. And I'll just move it in this direction. Just do a 2R. Then I'll move it down, then I'll move it down, and then move this back, but I want to get the centers in exactly the same place that they were before. So I'm going to move this over here, and go up, up, down, down, so that plants this over here. Now I got to plant this guy over here, so we'll go up, down, down, up. So all I did is I just reconfigured it to put the centers back. Now I can take this move and bring it back over here. So at the end of the day, this is in. So let's go ahead and keep doing that. So I've found a way to not put out the centers. And let's keep reducing the corners. So how about red and blue? Aha! Right over here, red and blue. So put this just across over here, and same kind of thing. Move it in, then move it down, go up, up, down, down. Move this back to here, up, down, down, up, and move this back, splat. Okay, so I have one more to go, so I'm kind of feeling good about this this technique here. So red and white, right over here. I'm going to move this into position so it's over here. Now, I can't exchange it with one of these, so I'm going to organize my 3 cycle to involve one of these guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, move it up to here, but in this position first. Now I might as well see if there's another one that this can go into, so this green and white doesn't belong to anyone up here, so it doesn't matter where I put it. So move it up like so. Now replace it in this slot, but in the meantime this has to come back down here, so down, down, up, up. So this is here. Now this guy has to come here, so down, up, up, down. So these are basic skewb moves, and just move this back. So now this whole corner is reduced, keeping these centers reduced as well. So I'm just going to keep doing that. Green and red over here. So I'm going to move this into position like so, and same kind of thing. Move it up, move this down, then up, up, down, down. And I'm going to take this, move this to here by going up, down, down, up. Now this is a similar strategy that I was using with the Pyraminx series, Master Pyraminx, Professor Pyraminx, Elite Pyraminx, all those Pyraminxes. So this is in now. I need a yellow and red. Yellow and red, where are you? Right over here. Move this up to here, and same thing. Double turn, move it down, up, up, down, down. So this is flowing pretty fast. And if this is all I gotta do, well, I'm not worried about it. Green and yellow. Green and yellow is right over here, so we're gonna Move this into position. Now once again, I have to do a 3 cycle with this guy here. This is a orange and blue. Is there an orange? Yeah, there's an orange and blue, so I can put in 2 at the same time. So move this into here, move this up, which places this. Now move this up, gotta move this guy back down here, so down, down, up, up. And now this has to come to here, so down, up, up, down. And now we simply move this back down. So this is in, and now all of these guys are in. So now that I've got this, I might as well keep running with it. Yellow and orange. Yellow and orange right here. Move this into position. Move them up, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up. Move them back. Okay, so this is in, and I think that was the final 3 cycle. Yep, sure was. Okay, so designing 3 cycles are not too difficult. You just have to get the motion and make sure that you don't take out what you put back in. So we appear to have a reduced Skewb. So I've got a Skewb here. So let's solve it as such and see what happens. So the Skewb solve is very straightforward. Basically, here's the center, and I'm going to put the corners all around the centers here, since I have the best movement with those. So this green and white is going to come over to here. So just turn this so that it's in proper position. Whoop. Not sure how that happened. Okay, so this turns over here. Turn, turn, and turn. This is in. Now I put the other green one in. I need to twist this, turn this, so keep doing it like this and bring it up. Okay, so now this side is done. Move it over here. This center's in, so I do the one that's opposite, which is going to be white. White is down over here, so I'm going to bring it up to the top. Down, down, up, up. There may be more efficient ways of doing Skewbs, but I find this to be the easiest for me to remember at any given moment. This goes to here. So future me is not too worried about this part. It's what's about to occur that's the problem. So this is in, this is in, this is in, these 3, oh, we got a little bit of a problem. The problem is that 2 are out. 2 centers are out. So let me put this down just to show what I mean. Down, down, up, up. So this center's in, this center's in, this blue is opposite green, which is where it needs to be, this red one is in. However, we got a problem because this and this need to be swapped. I've got 2 centers that are wrong. So basically what I have is a bona fide parity. In the process of reducing my cube to a Skewb, I have an impossible situation, something that I could have never scrambled this into. Now I don't know how many Skewbs out there actually will give me this configuration, but that's kind of what I've got, is I've got a problem with the centers. So these 2 centers need to be swapped, which means that in order to solve this, I cannot solve this as a Skewb. I've got to use cube moves in order to get this back. So that's what I mean about a parity. This is truly a parity of reduction. I didn't reduce it from an even layer to an odd layer. I reduced it from a cube to a Skewb. In actuality, when you have a hybrid that's scrambled as both, it doesn't really behave as any one. It's almost like a superpositioning of both parities at the same time. What I did is collapsed it down into one parity by turning it into a Skewb, where you have a duality of behaving like both types of parity. Once you collapse it down to one parity, you might end up with a parity problem, which is what I did. I collapsed this cube/Skewb hybrid into a Skewb, and I find myself unable to solve it. So all I need to do is I need to swap these 2 out, but I can't do it as a Skewb. I have to use cube moves. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm simply going to do 1, 2, move it like so. And now I got to move it back, but in the proper position. So I'm going to flip this upside down and flip this upside down, and then move it back, not taking out any of these. So to do that, I'm going to move it up, then down. So down, down, up, up, down, down, up, up. So this has been flipped, but by doing that I flipped these 2. Well, no worries, because I'm going to turn it over here, flip this, which will flip these 2 back. So down, down, up, up, down, down, up, up. So symmetry was not broken with this. These have been flipped back. These have been flipped as well. So I go curse splat. The corners are still reduced. And as you can see, my centers are now back. Okay, so that was okay. That was pretty good. That didn't cause too much trouble. So let's see what else we need to do. Well, we've got another problem here. The problem is that taking a look at the corners, there's actually a couple of problems that I can see here. Can you identify the issues with the parity? Let me just sort of turn this around here. What two parities, at least two parities, can you see in this situation here? What do you think is going on? There is actually two more parities that are happening here. So let's see if you can identify that. Turn this around here and tell me what you think.